Hey everybody, Steve Borey here from the Jackpot Gents. I am one of the Jackpot Gents along with my son, Matt Borey.
How's it going, everybody? And today we have a special guest, Josh O'Connell from knowyourslots.com. How are you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure. And Josh is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to casino comps and slot machines. So we have him on here to talk every so often. And that's what we're doing today. And today we are talking about something that I feel like everybody that goes to the casino will like and enjoy and can learn something from. And that is 7 tips to get more casino comps. Because everybody likes free stuff, So why not get more free stuff?
Mhm.
So let's just sort of hop into this right now. And number one on your list is, of course, use your Players Club card.
Yeah, if you've watched any of the videos that Steve's done over the years or that I've been part of, I think we've said this on pretty much every one of them at this point, but the player's card is how the casino tracks your play. It's how they know what wagers you're making, how many wagers you're making, over the time that you're in a casino, and they use that information to be able to calculate what your comps are going to be. So if you're not using your player's card, you're basically giving up that opportunity to earn comps because the casino has no idea that you're doing this. So it's always a few minutes, stand in line, get that card. The card costs you nothing. You get perks for having the card, generally speaking. There's opportunities to make a new tier, which gives you additional perks or additional opportunities. So getting that card is definitely always where you need to start. If you've never been to a casino before, go get in line, sign up. And if you've been to that casino before, you can always get a replacement card very easily.
Yeah, and some people may not understand that it's free. It's always free to get a Players Club card. But now some people have a superstition. They say, well, whenever I use my Players Club card, I never win when that's inserted in there. And the
You beat me
casinos
to it. I was gonna
Oh.
talk about all the conspiracy theorists here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I think Josh knows where we're both going with this. So go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing I do write about on my site a lot is the myths versus the reality of playing at a casino, and the player's card comes up a lot. If I pull my player's card out, then I get a jackpot, but if it's in, I never get a jackpot. Or the casino knows it's me, so they lower the payout on the slot. The player's card system is not built in directly into the slot. It's in the cabinet, but it's its own separate system. And so it can receive information from the slot, again, how much you're betting, how much you put in the machine, how much you cash out. It can apply your free play to the machine, but that's about it. It can't control settings. So it's not going to be able to change how the payout of the machine. It can't suppress jackpots because that's actually illegal under many gaming regulations. All outcomes need to be possible on every push of the button. So don't need to worry about that. But the inverse of that is when you're using your player's card, you qualify for these comps. Comps can be anywhere between generally 20 to 40% of your expected loss. So if you're a $500 a day casino player, the casino might be looking at $100 to $200 worth of comps for your next visit. That's a lot of money. That's money you're leaving on the table if you take your card out. So you definitely don't want to do that. You want to make sure you use your card. Now, Steve and I both also point out you almost always want to use your card. If you're going to go to the casino and you're not really going to gamble, keep your card in your wallet or leave the card at home. You don't want them to know you're on property because each time you visit, that's what's called a gaming day. And if you do less than your normal gaming, and we'll talk about that as one of the notes later on this list, you could be hurting yourself. So I went to the casino last month. I had to exchange a shirt, believe it or not, because it's the only location in Connecticut. I got a gift, and that was the only place in Connecticut where that store existed. And I decided we were going to have dinner, but my card never came out. I just, we went to dinner, we exchanged a shirt, and we left the casino. And so for all they knew, I was never there. And so that protects your offers because you didn't gamble that trip.
Yeah,
All right.
and back to the conspiracy theorist thing, we did an interview with somebody else the other day, and I thought they put it like very bluntly, but it was very good. They said they're like, the casino doesn't care about you. Like if you're going in there and you're betting $3 a spin on a slot machine, you honestly think the casino is going to care about that? That's nothing to them. They're gonna, all of their attention is gonna be on the high rollers, in the room betting like $1,000 a spin on baccarat or $1,000 a hand on baccarat. They're not gonna be looking through the surveillance at people that are betting $2-3 a spin and say, I want to take that guy's money. That's not really they got
True.
bigger fish to fry than
Well,
one individual slot player.
And it's a parasitic relationship, as it were, because like when you use your player's card, you're giving them data that they desperately want, because the more they know about how players play, the more they can tweak those offers to exactly target the type of player you are, which hopefully brings you in more often. But in turn, you as the player get the offers and you get the comps. So, you know, there's sort of a maybe symbiotic relationship's a little nicer way of putting it, but like basically, you know, each party is helping the other out in some way. And so you don't want to give that up just by not playing. I will say some of the casinos I really likes this approach. I've seen them walk up when they see players without a card and they can generate a card right then and there on the spot. And I've always thought that that's pretty smart because, you know, they're kind of doing it in a friendly way and also taking, you know, having to wait in the line, for instance, out of the equation. Because sometimes you'll go to a casino and the line will just be long. And you'll be like, whatever, what am I giving up more than you realize? But, you know, that takes some of that pressure off too.
Now, one last thing on signing up for a player's card. The other thing is you can sometimes get bonuses for the first time you sign up for the card. So those add to your overall payback. They may give you free play. They may say earn a certain number of points, get a free buffet, whatever. So all that generates value for you as a player. But let's move on to number 2 now. You
just made me think. Sorry, one more thing.
No problem.
Not only is there the sign up bonus, but generally speaking, a casino that's new and still trying to get to know you will also generate what's called a teaser offer based on your first round of play, which tends to be a bit more generous than offers would normally be because they want you to come back a second time. They want to see, was your first visit a normal visit, or are you going to play the same way the second time? Because if you play the same way twice, that reaffirms the data, right? Like, again, this is all about for them data and understanding what kind of a player you are. So if you're going to do that first casino trip, I always recommend maximizing your opportunity there, put your best foot forward, so that way you not only get the best of the first like sign up bonus, but you also get the best sort of comeback offer as well.
So a lot of reasons there to be sure to sign up for Players Club cards. So moving on to number 2, which was, I think your suggestion was play for 3 to 4 hours. So do you think that's the ideal amount of time for a player to put in?
So that's what hosts tell players quite a bit. And so the reason why I worded it that way is because I'd rather word it the way that the casino representatives are wording it, because there's a magic number to that. Let's take 2 examples, and this is an easy way to illustrate it. Let's say you go to a roulette table with $1,000 and you bet $1,000 on black. There are 2 outcomes. You will either end up with $2,000 or $0, one wager, and you might double up your money, walk away, and that's that. The casino doesn't really like that very much because they don't really have much of an opportunity to make money off of you. They have almost a 50-50 chance, right, of making that money off of you. But there's something called the house edge. So if you're playing American roulette with the 00 and 0, it's about 5.25% expected loss on your wagers. So the casino thinks on that $1,000 is about a $52 profit opportunity on that. Now compare it to someone who bets $10, but they do it $5,000 worth of those wagers. So you have 500 bets. The odds of you winning all 500 or losing all 500 are practically 0, right? Like flipping a coin, the odds of 500 heads or 500 tails is practically 0. So you'll win some, you'll lose some. The casino has a much greater opportunity with more wagers against the house edge to make money off of you over time. And so they like players who are actually going to play. So when you talk about 3 to 4 hours, what they're actually hoping you're going to do is make hundreds and hundreds of wagers. And offers are calculated by a few important things. One is the amount of wagers that you make, so the amount of total bets you make, the house edge of the games that you're playing. So if is the casino going to make 5% over time, 10% over time, that's what you know is the house edge. And then over the course of a window of time. So usually it's what they call a gaming day. So it's a 24-hour window in which those wagers are calculated. A few casinos will do it based on trips, especially in Las Vegas, where you're known to stay multiple nights. But for the most part, like in most people's local casinos, it'll be a 24-hour window, like 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. say, or something like that. So that's how they calculate how much you wager and how much you're worth in a given day. And so that they come up with a calculation called theoretical loss. So that's if everything was perfect, a 5% house edge always made 5%. And though you did X number of wagers, then we will make this off of you. Now, the reality is you could hit a hand pay, you could get a jackpot, you could lose all of your money quickly. But in the long run, it averages out. And so the 3 to 4 hours thing the casinos like, because they know you're going to make hundreds of wagers. Those hundreds of wagers will be exposed to that house edge. They'll have a better chance of winning something off of you. So they want to encourage that. So if you're a player that spends $1,000 on one bet, you are less interesting to that casino than players that spend $1,000 over the course of an afternoon, because again, they have a better chance at winning at least a portion, if not all of that money.
Yeah, because so you had said it earlier. What did you say, that 20 to 30% or 30 to 40% of the?
Anywhere between 20 and 40%. Yeah, usually 20 to 30, but there are some casinos that push it up there if they're really trying to compete.
Yeah, so like for instance, let's say, just to keep it simple, you hear my dog, he's very excited about the casino comps here. So if you say you're playing a slot machine, right? And you're betting 250 a spin, and you put through you know, 4 spins would be $10. So 40 spins would be $100. Say you put through $10,000, however many spins that is. I'm a little distracted, can't do that math in my head. And the slot machine has a 10% edge. So say you've wagered, let's say $1,000. Say you've wagered $1,000. The casino has a and that just means wagered. That doesn't mean you've lost 1,000. That means that, say you're betting let's keep it simple, $1 a spin, 1,000 spins. It doesn't matter. Like you said, anything can happen in the long run. You could hit a hand pay, you could lose all your money, you could break even. The casino knows in the long run, if that machine has a 10% house edge, they're always going to make that 10%. They're going to make $100 off you. So the casino knows, they go off that, like you said, the theoretical edge. So if you bet $1,000 through, bet 1,000 spin, dollar spin, and it has a 10% edge, the casino knows their theoretical loss, your theoretical loss is $100. So that 20 to 40% means you're going to get $20 to depending on how the casino runs their promotions, you're going to get between $20 and $40 in comps. And you know, of course, you can't do, like you said, if you're betting $1 spin, you can't bet $1,000 in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You know, it's going to take you quite a bit to get to those 1,000 spins. So
Right.
that's one thing. That's why he says you got to play for a long amount of time, because statistics say you're going to have to get to the long run to get that. So the casinos know, they like to make sure that they make their money in the long run, because if they base everything off that theoretical loss, you have to be getting close to at least somewhat close to the long run for them to value your play at all. So don't hit and run in a casino.
Right. Yeah. Most slots you can do 400 to 600 spins every single hour, and that factors in bonuses and things like that. So you can do quite a few wagers. A lot of people get stuck on the difference between actual money inserted into a machine versus coin in this. So just to zoom out a little bit, less technical, $1,000 in coin in doesn't mean you put $1,000 into the machine. It just simply means you've made $1,000 worth of bets. So every time you hit that button is $1. You could win 50 cents back. You could win $500 back, but that's the bet, right? So that's what they're counting when they call coin in, and then coin out is how much you actually, you know, got back from the machine. So when you look at your coin in and coin out statements, I sometimes have people say, I didn't spend $1 million. Well, you didn't. That's not what it's telling you. It's telling you that that's how many wagers you made and then how much you got back from those wagers. So yeah, the offers, going back to how you get more comps, obviously in this case, it's just making sure that you have enough play in a window of time for them to be able to score your play. They definitely heavily discount the hit and run players in favor of those that play a few hours on the floor. And so that's why when people ask a host, like, how can I get more? And they say play to 3 to 4 hours. It's usually that they were probably played an hour, played a little too hard, too fast. And, you know, they just need to spread that play out a little bit more.
And then moving, do you have anything to add in here, Dad?
No, I think you covered it all, Matt.
Okay. So moving on to number 3 is be consistent.
Yeah. So when it comes to offers are based on that formula, right? So if you go into a casino one day with $100 budget, and then you go into the casino the next day with $1,000 budget, and then you go back to that casino with a $200 budget, your offers are going to be either all over the map, or they're not going to really move up or down very much when you do a big play day, because it's an average, right? So if you go to a casino with the same budget each time, your offers will generally stay pretty consistent over time, barring any changes to the casino and how they actually calculate the offers, because they always have the right to do that. But ultimately, if you go in with $200 once a month and you play $200 at a steady pace once a month, you're going to get probably the same offer the next month and the month after that. And so if you value your offers, you know, one of the ways to make sure you maintain those offers is just simply to make sure that you make your casino trips consistent. If you want more, then bullet number 4 will be one easy opportunity to do that, actually.
All right, moving on to 4, which is?
That's to consolidate your visits. And I've mentioned this on 1 or 2 videos we have in the past. If you're a weekly player, for instance, and go to the casino with $100 a week, the casino sees you as a $100 per visit player. And so your offers will, of course, be calculated based on that. Now, take the same budget and go every other week. You now have $200 and you're going every 2 weeks. The casino will see you as a $200 per visit player because you are going in with a $200 budget each time. Now, why would they treat you differently? Because you're going half as often, you can't use the resources as much as a weekly player. So let's say every time you went to the casino, you took a hotel room. If you're going every week, that's 4 hotel rooms a month. But if you're going twice a week, now you're only using 2. And so your offers tend to be able to be balanced in a different way because there's just only you're not going to book 4 hotel rooms for one person, right? So like you only going to have so many resources of certain types that you're going to use. There's only so many meals you can eat. So basically they can rebalance the offers in a different way. It could mean that you get more free play or you get a better deal on the hotel room or an upgraded hotel room or things like that, because they have there's more money in the bucket to release for your offers, and they can balance it out through, rooms, free play, comp dollars or meal credits or whatever the case may be. And so some players feel like that the less often visiting ones get treated better, even though they may spend more money over time. It's not that they're treated better. You're just dripping your offer out in very small increments, whereas they're taking a bigger offer much less frequently. And so things like, people wonder, like, why would hosts favor one over another? If you're a irregular visitor, but you're going to bring a lot of money with you versus you're coming in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the host doesn't have to worry about the Monday, Wednesday, Friday player because they're coming in all the time. They're going to want to try to bring in those players that come in irregularly with big budgets. So, slowing down your visits and having more money per visit is an easy way to goose your offers.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, one thing I never quite understood with casinos, if let's say you went 4 times a month and your theoretical loss was $100. Say you brought $500 with you every time, and the casino said your theoretical loss was $100. So you're a $100 player. And then you change it and you go to the casino every single day and you do the exact same thing. I think most casinos, even though you are, instead of a $400 loss for the month, once a week for 4 weeks, you lose $100 a day for 30 days, a $3,000 loss. I believe most casinos are going to treat you the exact same. They're still going to consider you a $100 player, and that's one thing I never quite understood, why casinos did that. Do you have any insight on that?
It's unfortunately the way the systems are designed, because they're basically there's a term in the industry that Caesars is most fond of, but other players talk about all the time, which is called average daily theoretical, ADT, right? So basically it's how much you're going to lose on average every day. And the thing is, your average didn't change, right? So you're going 30 days, but you're still losing $100 per day. And so the offers are, many casinos will calculate offers on a daily basis or a twice a week basis or whatever the case may be. Like most casinos have a formula. I found that, like, one of my home casinos, for instance, when I go more often, they break up the offer into more increments. So I could claim more instances of my free play. I could claim more instances of my food credit, because they figure if I come another trip, I'll spend the same amount of money. So they're trying to encourage more trips. When you're going every day, there's really not much more they can do to encourage you to come more. And so it's the formula, it still works out to the $100 per visit. Whereas if that same player took that $500 and visited once a week and spent $500, that would look very different. And so frequency is usually not the most important value. It's the amount you spend each time you're in the building. That's the most important value. So sometimes it's better to go a little less often, and then you'll get a lot more out of it.
Now, speaking of consolidating your plays, on top of consolidating your plays, like in grouping together your visits, another thing you can do is, if you have somebody you always go to the casino with, like your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever the case may be, another trick is if you both go and you're both playing and you're both using your own players club card, another trick that you can do that I think works very, very well, and it's easy way to double up your comps without spending any more money, is say you go 4 times, say you go once a week, right? And you're both betting on the same card every single time, each on separate cards. So you alternate. So like if you go, like if my dad and I are going once a week, one week we'll both be playing on my dad's card, and then the next week we'll both be playing on my card, so even if we're both $100 a trip players, if we're both playing on the same card, we immediately become a $200 a trip player, and
Yeah,
you're
no, I think
you're
that's
getting
really
twice
savvy.
as many comps for literally no more money at all.
Yep. Or, if you have a lopsided player scenario, like my partner's not a big gambler, but sometimes I'll give $20 and so whatever, that play can still incrementally add to the offers and to the overall coin in for the day. So that certainly makes sense. And yeah, the alternating thing, like if you're a couple, you're most likely going to share a room anyway. So you don't need 2 room offers to use at the same time. So why not focus on one at a time each visit? So that way, you get the most out of that. So yeah, I think that's another great way to do it.
And then on to number 5 is time your visits. And what does this mean? Just link it up with like ongoing promotions and stuff like that?
Exactly. So if we're talking about getting more comps, and we talked about a little bit about this with the lower limit players in the last video we did together, there was the ability to go when there's a point multiplier day, or go when there's a hot seat promotion, or things like that. And so you can get additional comps earned on your card as a result of that. I went to the Plaza in July as part of my Vegas trip that I recently went on, and they have a kiosk promotion on Wednesdays that's been going on for a while, where you can swipe your card and you get anywhere from 3x to 10x your points. And so I swiped and I got 10x. And so the way they work there is that every dollar you wager on a slot machine gets you a point, but now I'm getting 10 points, and 250 points equals $1. So it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to start earning these comp dollars. So if you do $1,000 of bets, like we were talking about before, that's 10,000 points, which is worth $40. So that's a nice little extra incentive, little extra money to take with you on top of, above and beyond any offers that you would earn. And so, you can definitely maximize comp earnings if you go on a point multiplier day and that sort of thing. Or, if there's a pay to play offer. One example that I came across was last fall. I was in California at a casino where they were giving out vouchers to their essential store based on the amount of points that you earned. And it was sort of a progressive bonus. So you earn, like, let's say 100 points, you get $10, you earn 250 points, you get $25, but you get to keep the $10 and get the $25, right?
Oh, okay.
So I ended up just playing what I was going to play. I played at their property specifically, and I got like $75. So I was able to sort of stack up on some gift shop stuff before I left California. But it was just free extra money that I earned on top of my regular play, because they didn't take your points to get those vouchers. So you earn the comp dollars and you earn the vouchers. So definitely take advantage of those things. Time your trips to go after them, and you're just going to get more out of your trip.
I know a lot of casinos near us. They have these promotions on certain days where if you earn, say, 100 points, you can get gift cards to gas stations or to your supermarket. And, that's money you're going to spend anyway. So it's value. It has a lot of value to you. So why go to a casino on a day when they're not offering a promotion like this? Try and time your visits to the day where you can earn something for play. This is for play you were going to do anyway. You don't have to make an additional visit to the casino. Just time your visits to go on the day that they offer these promotions.
And one thing I want to throw in here is it's not just point multiplier days I guess it is point multipliers, but I've seen casinos do senior days where if, like, you're over 50 or you're over 65, they give you a point multiplier or give you a bonus. I've seen them do it for teachers. I've seen them do it for, like, what do they call it? The police, firefighter, military, stuff like that. So keep an eye out for those promotions, because if you might not qualify for one, you might qualify for another one. Or I've seen it where they'll do like a point multiplier, like 2x for everyone, but then if you're a senior, you get another 2x, so it makes it 4x. So if I would definitely check to see if there's other I don't know, categories, demographics that they're offering, whatever you want to call it, that they're offering promos to see if you qualify for any of those as well.
Yeah, and the other thing I like to look for is opportunities to stack promotions. There was a great example last year at one of my casinos where I had my regular free play offer. They had a kiosk swipe for free play, and it was my birthday month, so I was also able to claim a bonus birthday free play. So I got almost 3 times my normal free play. And the nice thing is once you do the free play once, it's now cash, and that cash counts towards your coin in. So my offers also improved a little bit on the other end of that because I did more coin in than normal because I had all this extra budget suddenly, thanks to the casino stacking it together. So you there's all sorts of different things you can look for. I really, now the casinos are bringing back the kiosk swipes a lot more. There tends to be some opportunities there for more of these, so that's always a good plus as well.
All right, now we're going to move on to number 6, but we sort of touched on this before. I guess you can elaborate a little more, which is go at least once in a while.
Yeah, so the other side of, so we talked about visit frequency before, but you also need to remember that casinos rate you based on a certain window of time. So it might be a year, might be 2 years. And then once you haven't been for long enough, sometimes the offers evaporate because they just haven't seen you. I've noticed that's not been as often since the pandemic because people's patterns are all messed up. But as things kind of get back to normal, I expect it to sort of return to normal. But like, if you don't go for a while, they might send you like a, hey, we miss you offer. And that's fine. But the reality is that without at least an occasional visit, they don't have any recent data to work against, and so they don't know what to offer you. So, it's good to, if you care about your offers, if you want to maintain your offers, you should aim to visit your casino often enough to not let them expire. Like I know one casino at home is an every 6-month cycle. So if I don't go for 6 months, I'll get like one comeback opportunity and then that's it. It's just gone until I go back. With a second casino, it's about a year. So I know if I have to go at least once a year if I want to maintain those offers. It's pretty obvious because you'll notice when the mailers stop coming or the emails shut off. But so again, like in terms of getting more comps, part of it is just making sure that, if it's a casino that's important to you anyway, that you go every so often.
Yeah, I would say it and go at least once every 3 months if you want the offers to continue at the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the last point we want to touch on, which I think is very important that a lot of people might not necessarily think about, is play at a casino that offers the best benefits for you. You gotta make sure that the stuff that the casinos are giving you is stuff that you actually want.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And as clever as casinos have already been able to get with offers, they are still a blunt instrument in some cases. And so, for instance, if you live 15 minutes away from the casino, you might not find those free room offers to be all that valuable that often because you can get home so easily. Whereas if you live 90 minutes away, you might find that room offer to be more valuable. And so, if free play is the most important thing to you, that one casino A might serve you better. Whereas if rooms are more important to you, casino B, like for instance, when you talk about like Atlantic City or Las Vegas, many people know that Caesars has traditionally had sort of the lowest bar to clear to get a free room night. And so, if having a place to stay in Atlantic City or Las Vegas is important and you don't have offers, it can be an easy way to get established and at least have a baseline to work against and have some room offers that are there. Whereas, other casinos might offer free play or something else as their sort of lead offer. So, knowing what matters to you is half of it, and then understanding what casino delivers for that value for you is the other half of it. And so generally speaking, you can talk to other players, you can sort of feel it out when you go, see what offers you get back. But no two casinos handle offers exactly the same way, at least, owners of casinos, MGM might handle offers consistently across the board, but, versus Caesars, versus My Choice, versus Hard Rock, they'll all have kind of their own sort of formulas for this. So, that's why it's also good to know like what amenities you care about and things like that, because some casinos may have it and some may not. If you're a spa person, you might find you like the spa at a casino. So understanding what's important to you is healthy, because then it helps you understand how to achieve those offers for yourself.
Yeah, well, some of the casinos here, well, the Hard Rock is the biggest one here, and they have a lot of shows, and none of the other casinos really have shows. So if you want to go to shows, that's the place you're going to want to play, because you want to get free tickets to those shows that they offer. But one thing Matt and I have always said, if you want to compare one casino to another to see what the benefits are like and if it's good for you, is you could put in your play, but make sure you're putting in the same amount of play. Just put through $1,000. And wait, usually takes about 6 to 8 weeks to see what shows up in the mail and see what they send you for your $1,000. But make sure if you want to compare it to another casino that you're putting the same amount of money through, another $1,000. So so you're comparing apples to apples. But one other question that I have, and we get a lot of times on our discussion forums, is let's say you're going to go to a Caesar's Entertainment property, and you're staying at Paris, and you want to go play at Caesar's Palace, and people say, well, if I'm staying at Paris and I put in a bunch of play at Caesar's, is it going to count towards my play at Paris? And how does that work with casinos that have multiple properties like that?
Yeah, I just got this question and wrote about it recently on my site, actually, because it comes up quite a bit. So in larger markets, many casino companies treat the entire market like one big casino for the purposes of tracking play. So I know for sure both MGM and Caesars do this at Las Vegas, and I know that Caesars does this in Atlantic City. So your play from all of those casinos get rolled into the average for that market for that day. So right now, as we tape this, for instance, Caesars is doing this Quest for Rewards promotion where they encourage you to do 25 tier credits of player spend at every one of their properties, like all 50 of them across the country. But if you're in Las Vegas, there's 9 of them, and you get badges for visiting all 9, which gives you tier credits, and you get rewarded for each property individually and the spend that you do, and playing different types of games. And so they're encouraging you, frankly, to bounce around and check out all of their properties. But all of that play rolls up into one big gaming day for the purposes of that. So you don't have to worry about that. And then when they go to the offers, their properties are sort of in tiers. So, the lower properties will offer you more because the room is considered less expensive. So you're not using as much of your 20 to 40% on that, and you might get a little bit more out of that versus like staying at Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace versus like Flamingo, for instance, just different tiers, different sets of amenities, and so therefore set up differently. And so, bigger players will have better access to Caesar's rooms, lesser players might have better access to like a Flamingo room or a Planet Hollywood room or something like that, but it all counts. That's not the case for everyone. It's important to note. For instance, Stations has a bunch of casinos out in the Las Vegas area. They treat every one of their properties as a silo. So if you play at Palace Station, you won't get offers from like another Station property. It'll only be for Palace Station. So you do need to keep in mind that it's not a one size fits all solution. Again, every casino company handles their comps differently, but the biggest ones, Caesars and MGM, do roll up the play within a market.
I would say the same thing about the Seminoles. They own the Hard Rock, and then all that they've. What do we have? Three properties within 30 minutes of each of our houses. It's the same. Well, there's 2. There's the Hard Rock, and then they have one literally right across the street. That's a much lower end casino. All of their properties are treated completely differently. Like you don't. You earn the comp dollars that you can use everywhere else, but the offers themselves are completely separate from some. Each, so you're going to have to look into that. There was one other thing I wanted to touch on back at the play at the places that give you the best benefits, and it's, with me at least, I'm a bit of a foodie, so I love going to eat at all these fancy restaurants. And one thing is, pretty much every casino is good. If they have restaurants, they're going to give you comps to use in the restaurants. But one big thing that I wanted to point out is, if a casino has a bunch of restaurants that you don't like and they're known for giving out food credits, that's another thing that you want to keep in mind is, if they're giving you a bunch of food credits to use at rrestaurants you don't like, that's not really going to be much help there. So that was one other thing I wanted to
zooming
add
out even another level from that, how much does it take to earn a comp dollar? Like if you are at Caesars, that you have to do a lot of wagering to get, I think it's $500 of slot play to get 1 comp dollar. Whereas a lot of my casinos at home, it's anywhere between $100 and $200 to get a comp dollar. So it's just a lot more difficult to build up those comp dollars. And then can you spend them dollar for dollar, or a restaurant's 2 for 1, which means now it's going to take $1,000 to get $1 off your restaurant bill. And like, at what point is it just easier to go in and buy your steak versus gambling for those comps? So definitely, if restaurants and spending the comp dollars is a key part of it for you, knowing which properties are sort of the most generous from that perspective. And then on top of the point multipliers and all of that, but like, if you're starting from a better position, then you're gonna earn more comp dollars for your play as well.
Interestingly enough, at the Seminoles down here at the Hard Rock, I just keep using them as an example because I know them well. The high-end restaurants, it's dollar for dollar. If you go to the food court and the snack bar, it's $2 for one. Like it's more expensive. You have to use more comp dollars in the snack bar or the food court than you do in the fancy restaurants, which I always thought was weird, but you know.
Yes, I remember buying my $6 soda when I was visiting Steve earlier this year because the $3 soda was ×2 for the comp dollars. That was an unfortunate learning lesson for me, but fortunately it was only $3.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to throw in here before we wrap this up, Josh?
I mean, I think it's important for players to understand how comps work, in part because, you know, this is the easiest way to goose your payback, right? The payback on the machine is one thing, but these comps are another thing. So, you know, I always encourage people to explore comps, understand what it is. You know, comp programs can be very complicated. So, you know, I understand it's also a bit taxing on some people, but like it's helpful to know what you're getting out of it because you can maximize your benefit. If you care about comps and want to read more about comps, knowyourslots.com is my website. I write about something every single day, but I do write about comps on average once a week because it's a topic that comes up a lot. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The handle is Know Your Slots, all one word.
All right. As always, it's great talking to you, Josh. We appreciate your time joining us today. And Matt, did you have anything you wanted to say to the folks out there?
Just, you know, if you like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any of our other great videos.
Great. Thanks for watching, everybody, and best wishes for good luck in the casinos.